Hello folks, the old deplorable basket case here. So in a recent video I talked about the meanings of the word extremist and the word moderate in the context of the Muslim world. Now in this video I mentioned some figures from the Pew Research Center, and I cite several Islamic countries where upwards of 70, 80, 90% of people believe that Sharia law should be the law of the land, and that women should be stoned to death for adultery, and Muslims should be killed if they try to convert to some other religion. And this person commented with, oh my god. This person commented saying, "You cite Muslims in countries with Sharia law." No, I didn't. I cited Egypt. Egypt does not operate under Sharia law. I cited Jordan. Jordan does not operate under Sharia law. I cited Nigeria. Nigeria does not operate under Sharia law. You know, I am an imperfect human being. So there are times I rush to comment, there are times I rush to make an argument, but as a general rule, as a personal policy, I try really hard to make sure that I am right, that I am correct before I say anything. You know, make sure I got my facts straight before I open my big fat mouth. I think that's a really good policy for people to follow. I suggest you do so. And there is little dispute that they are what you call extremists. No, I do not call them extremists. You missed the entire point of the video. My point is that if upwards of 70, 80, 90% of people in a group believe in a particular thing, then they are the mainstream, not extremists. To the extent that they support the particular things you cite. However, there is a requirement on Muslims to obey the law of the land, and this applies in our Western countries, and they are not supposed to break our laws. Okay, they're not supposed to break our laws. That has not prevented at least some people from doing things like chopping their daughters' heads off because their daughters went and had sex with their boyfriend. There are also a minority of Muslims in Muslim countries with progressive ideas who want to modernize their societies. Yeah, that's my entire point. They are minorities. They are not the mainstream. They're not moderates. They are on an extreme edge of their society. They are extremists in their own context. As in the West, progressive liberal ideas are anathema to the majority conservative right, and progress is slow. As in the United States currently, the progress often goes backwards when the conservative right is in power. Dude, are you really... Seriously, you are comparing Sharia law fanatics who stone women to death for being raped to American conservatives. You're really making that comparison. To answer your question of who the moderate Muslims are, then really only means... Grammar, dude. It matters. Then really only means Muslims who live in secular Western societies. Okay, just a few lines up, you said that there are Muslims in Muslim countries who don't believe in killing Muslims for converting to other religions, who do not support Sharia law as the law of the land. We agree on that. So it's not just Muslims in Western secular societies. Also, there are people who might take that sentence as implying that Muslims in Western secular societies are not extremists. In this, supposing for a moment that we are using this meaning of the word moderate. However, I am not keen on your use of the word extremist, as it is usually applied in the same breath as terrorist. Excuse me, usually used in the same breath as terrorist. But, dude, you are not keen? Why should I care? There is no reason why I should care how you feel about my use of the word. if you believe that my use of the word is incorrect, if you believe my use of the word implies something that is incorrect, you could have said that. But no, all you had to say was about your feelings. I have no reason to care. I don't care if my use of a word makes you uncomfortable. There is no evidence that the majority of the world's Muslims believe that they should invade Western countries and kill people. Firstly, I never said that in the video. And secondly, in some countries at least, that is a very debatable point. Most of them would rather live peaceful lives and raise families just like most people in the West. Okay. So? That's saying most people just want to live their lives. The sky is blue. Water is wet. So, what's the point? It is hardly being an extremist to be a strong supporter of your country's laws. Even if we in the West find those laws to be outdated, barbaric, and offensive, they are the laws of the countries in which they live. Again, I say again, I cited Egypt. I cited Jordan. I cited Nigeria. I cited countries that do not operate by Sharia law. They're... No. Double-checking your facts before you make an argument. It's important. It's a really good thing to do. Making sure that your facts are correct is one, a very good way of making sure that your arguments are correct, and two, is a very good way of making sure that a discussion stays factual. That it does not dive down to ad hominem attacks. That it does not go to violent extremes. So, oh, dude, and everybody watching, check your facts before you open your mouth or type or hit that enter button. Just do that. And make sure that when you're arguing against something, you're arguing against a person, that you're arguing against an argument that they are actually making. Because if I'm making some argument against Bernie Sanders, for example, and I make some argument against how horrible it is that that transgenderism is being forced on people, on children in some particular place, but Bernie Sanders says to me, "Yeah, so what? I didn't argue against that. I didn't argue for that. I argued against that." Okay, terrible Bernie Sanders impression. But if you get my point. If I'm making an argument against something the other person didn't actually say, that's useless. That's pointless. It's less than useless. It's a waste of time. It just leads to bad feeling and doesn't actually lead to anything being resolved. So, that's my point. And, okay, dude, thank you. Thank you for the feedback. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate you commenting on my video, making an argument. I appreciate you saying things about what I have to say, because it's always good to have another perspective. It's always good to have someone challenging me, challenging the things I say, because if I'm wrong, then I can look at what you have to say and learn that I am wrong. And if I'm right, then I can look at what you have to say, and then I can look at the arguments that I have made, and I can see what weaknesses there are in my arguments, what facts I might not have perfectly correct. So I do appreciate it. Thank you. And if you comment on this video, please make sure you got your facts straight before you do it. Thank you, everyone, for watching this. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Good night, and God bless.